sexy way. Cat eyes when she gonna play. I cast my line cause she's dead fine. She might roll her eyes at my punchline. I only get one time. Well, we gon' see what the lust find. With my shine, she gon' love mine like red wine at bedtime. Finger licking in the morning with the mammy's fixins. Entrepreneur living, this ain't no cotton picking. Make sensual decisions, her girlfriends think she tripping. She be Netflix chilling, concealing her feelings. She knows there's a thin line between the grown man and some bipping. But they impressed by her sundress, the whip she getting. This ain't no bullshitting. She gets to the point, chewing on edibles like her panties while I puff a joint. She likes to linger in her lingerie, the grown and sexy way. Cat eyes when she's gonna play. She likes to linger in her lingerie, the grown and sexy way. Cat eyes when she's gonna play. She likes to linger in her lingerie, the grown and sexy way. Cat eyes when she's gonna play. Long stairs behind shades under long hair. Umbrella in your lemonade while you in your lawn chair. Looking goddess made. Reminisce with mimosas about the harder days. So many degrees you treat them like cards to play. Prima donna, soccer mama, Indo J and Gabbana. Don't believe in no drama. Get freaky at the Cabana. J-Lo and her anaconda. She push her Porsche, of course, in a brand new Honda. For her stinky link. We'll call her Lady Pink with intuition. She ain't got to think. Loose lips make shit sink. Being broke make shit stink. Make you stop in your track and you won't blink. She ain't worried about your hollering, she just came for a drink. She likes to linger in her lingerie, the grown and sexy way. Cat eyes when she's gonna play. She likes to linger in her lingerie, the grown and sexy way. Cat eyes when she's gonna play. She likes to linger in her lingerie, the grown and sexy way. Cat eyes when she's gonna play. Yeah, this for all the grown women like to handle their motherfucking business. Don't be worried about that bullshit. Keep their name out that social media. Keep their bills straight. Keep their children fed. This one's for you. Oh, oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? White dress or black leather, what can I tell ya? Oh, oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? With a little bit of game, we'll make your life better. Oh, oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? White dress or black leather, what can I tell ya? Oh, oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? With a little bit of game, we'll make your life better. Lordy-dotty, we likes to party. I like your pretty face and your thick ass body. What you working out for if you ain't trying to get naughty? And then she finally caught me in the corner of the club, trying to see my diamonds, if they really what it was. This is what it is, bitch, you ain't getting none. This is M.O.B. and I'm just here for some fun. Cause if you fuck with me, you gon' be out here on the run. Then she looking at me, smiling, confused and stunned. I gave her my phone, and she gave me her number. Let her touch on my chrome, let her sit on my leather. Then I took her fine ass home, I'm her midnight lover. Oh, oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? White dress or black leather, what can I tell ya? Oh, oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? With a little bit of game, we'll make your life better. Oh, oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? White dress or black leather, what can I tell ya? Oh, oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? With a little bit of game, we'll make your life better. I call her Cinderella and I call her Snow White, and she's looking for Dracula and don't care if we fight. Only going by her senses cause she knows it feels right. She needs the simulation, she's the lady of the night. fuck all that waiting. She's about that life, and it's money she's chasing, that's whether wrong or right. You will give her some roses and she will send me a kite. Better break for high stakes so your future is bright. Cause it could be dim and it could be dark. So she walked up to my altar with her soul in her heart. She said, I give these two to you and just don't take them apart. And I will give you everything as soon as I start. Yes! Oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? White dress or black leather, what can I tell ya? Oh, oh, Cinderella, what can I tell ya? Win a little bit of game will make your life better. What's going on with the good people? The good people, okay? We will be doing a lot of videos. I got a show coming up tomorrow with the brother Crumb TV. So y'all look out for that. It'll be going down on his channel. It'll be on mine as well. Okay, so that'll be tomorrow in the afternoon. We haven't got a time set, but if you're on our Facebooks, there should definitely be some advertisements coming up showing it. Okay, so today we just did a lot on the Kicked Out of Heaven, and there's a lot more coming. Remind yourself, all 3 books are going for $50 right now, half off Christmas. If you already got a copy, get a copy for your friends. This is the best material written in the 21st century on Western civilization and its connections to today. Okay? But in this video, we're going to be reading some words out of the C letter that's underneath the C inside the Encyclopedia on the Alchemy of Women, which go there, get the literature. Both books, volume 1 and volume 2, are for $100 right now. That's damn near 75% off, as each volume are valued at $200 plus on the Amazon. Okay, so you'll only be able to get it right now from me at this price, and I only got maybe about 5-8 copies left, somewhere in that realm. And once they're gone, they're gone. Okay, there won't be any rehashing. So get it while it's hot. Get it now, so we can have some sold out situations. The brother, the God 720, needs it. Okay, we need it. There's a lot of situations going on for this Christmas involving me, the dough, and all of that, and we don't never want to see a nigga low. You understand? And that's why I don't want to see you low. That's why I provided this information that I have, so we can battle all these things called mental illness and mental health, which are really the true terms for that is psychological issues. And in the 70s, they used to put you in a straitjacket and this is lock your ass up in a padded room. Now, the straitjacket, I think I need to start selling straitjackets. I think it should be a requirement for every American to put on a straitjacket for at least about an hour, sit on the edge of the bed and just bob back and forth. We're all going through a lot of insanity. There is Mercury retrograde is in effect right now. So if you're having a lot of splitting headaches, a lot of things are going wrong with communication, don't blame yourself. If a lot of energy musters up in the system that makes life hard, or memories that may come up, or opportunities that you may have missed in the past come up in your mind and try to mess with you, just know that that is the Mercury retrograde we're underneath right now. Okay, it is a very real thing, because and every time Mercury retrograde comes around, I can feel it. All my homeboys can feel it. The head is heavy. Okay, they say there's more suicides that occur at this time. And hopefully nobody in my fan base has the weak mental where that will occur. Suicide don't do it. It's not good. The majority of the time people do that to try to inflict pain upon others. Don't do it. It's unnecessary. It's a temporary trial and tribulation that you'll go through for a longevity win. Okay, is how you need to look at it. And it is around the corner for you as it is around the corner for me. Praise due God, Allah, all of that. You understand? So let's get into it. We're going to go over some words here. Okay, if anybody has any questions pertaining to the encyclopedia, you can put them up. I'll address them. But I'm going to be reading consistently.
So I need everybody to hold on tight, put on your seatbelts. It's going down. Let me see here. There we go. Okay, let me see if I can make it any larger. Okay. Let's go down to the C. Let's see what it looks like on the screen. Okay, cesarean section. Okay. So y'all read with me. We're going to be going through some words real quick. You know. And yeah, I'll speak about all that at the end, but I'm going to say a couple of things about relationship dynamics and being patient with those who have a slow process of thinking and getting down to the nit grit of situations. Fear will do nothing for you. But anyways, the cesarean section, okay? Cesarean section, also known as C-section or cesarean delivery, is the surgical procedure by which one or more babies are delivered through an incision in the mother's abdomen, often performed because vaginal delivery would put the baby or mother at risk. That is not the case nowadays. Well, I mean, those complications could be a problem, but nowadays people are scheduling a cesarean section for their delivery, which is not good, okay? Reasons for the operation include obstructed labor, twin pregnancy, high blood pressure in the mother, a breached birth, and problems with the placenta or umbilical cord. A cesarean delivery may be performed based upon the shape of the mother's pelvis or history of a previous C-section. A trial of vaginal birth after C-section may be possible. The World Health Organization recommends that cesarean sections be performed only when medically necessary. Some C-sections are performed without a medical reason, upon request by someone, usually the mother. A C-section typically takes 45 minutes to an hour and may be done with a spinal block where the woman is awake or under general anesthesia. A urinary catheter is used to drain the bladder, and the skin of the abdomen is then cleaned with an antiseptic. An incision of about 15 centimeters, which is 6 inches, is then typically made through the mother's lower abdomen. The uterus is then opened with a second incision and the baby delivered. The incisions are then stitched closed. A woman can typically begin breastfeeding as soon as she is out of the operating room and awake. Often several days are required in the hospital to recover sufficiently to return home. C-sections result in a small overall increase in poor outcomes and low-risk pregnancies. They also typically take longer to heal from, about 6 weeks, than vaginal birth. The increased risks include breathing problems in the baby and amniotic fluid embolism and postpartum bleeding in the mother. Established guidelines recommend. Hold on, we went a little bit too far here. Established guidelines recommend that cesarean sections not be used before 39 weeks of pregnancy without a medical reason. The method of delivery does not appear to have an effect on subsequent sexual function. Historically, this is my part right here, alchemy. Historically, the C-section was only performed on the dying woman. The oldest record of this procedure is found in ancient China during the state of Chu from 1030 to 23b. Its name comes from the legend of Julius Caesar being born by C-section. This is not confirmed. Lex Caesarea was a Roman law that oversaw the litigations relative to the issue. Here is a list of problems that are long-term on the child from being born by C-section. Breathing difficulty and asthma may occur from a potential hypershock that occurs to the baby's lungs and overall well-being when exposed to air and light through the false delivery. There is a risk of head facial laceration from surgery, breastfeeding difficulties, and delayed bonding. Issues such as obesity and eating problems occur throughout the life of a C-section baby because of the rush to seek protection for survival purposes. An infant's only understanding of strength comes from the consumption of food. This mentality will last throughout the child's life. There is also a higher chance of having type 1 diabetes. Studies have found a large difference in gut bacteria from C-section born babies and those who are vaginally born. C-section babies appear to have a slightly increased chance of having autism, reduced overall cognitive functioning, lower academic performance, and developmental delays. This is the immediate development and puberty. Babies born by emergency cesarean section slept for an hour less per day than babies born vaginally. New research has found that babies born via cesarean section may have an impaired immune system in later life due to the lack of exposure to maternal bacteria that would occur during the standard birthing process. Saint Caesarius of Terracina, okay, is the patron saint of Roman emperors. Very interesting. Has replaced and Christianized the cult of Julius Caesar and Augustus. Invoked against drowning, flooding, and for the good success of cesarean section. Okay, so there's a saint that stands over the cesarean section. Okay, I mean the C-section birth. And in old times, they used to cut up the abdomen, and the woman would have to be stapled up, and it was just an ugly scenario. Now they make a little cut right above the fupa area, and this is how it is done. But in essence, you need to have a vaginal birth, and there are many practices that should be done during the course of pregnancy, which would make the labor at ease. My first son, which was my baby mother's first child as well, was born within the span of 15 minutes. My second son, which was done at a at home birth, was done in less than an hour, and that includes labor. So if it takes 45 minutes to an hour for a C-section, you could definitely have preparation for the baby to be born in less time than that, and also in safer conditions, with the mother being extremely healthy. Okay. Now, Cake and Cunnilingus Day is a satirical holiday celebrated on 14th of April as a female response to Steak and Blowjob Day, which is celebrated on the 14th of March. On this day, women are supposed to eat cake and receive oral sex, which is cunnilingus. The event has been created as a female response to Steak and Blowjob Day, observed 1 month before it. So men first, ladies second. Okay, how that works. But when you're in a location, is ladies first, you open up the door for her. Okay, that's how it works. Now, camera. A camera is an arched roof, a vault camera from camera obscura, the dark chamber. In camera, in the judge's private chamber, antechamber, chamberlain. Spanish, camara. French, camarilla. Champerti, champanon. Mushroom of the fields. Champagne. The champion, champagne. Hence also the province in France, whence the wine. Possibly chimney. First, a vaulted opening as over a forge, as in a primitive tent or hut. Also in some modern homes with a fireplace in the middle of the living room. Camaraderie, or the comrade, one that shares a chamber. First, of soldiers in barracks, comrades in arms. Dutch, cabaret, or cabaret. By cameral. Greek is kem in. Old German is heaven. The vault of the sky. Good heavens. Alas, poor Yorick, where be your gibs now, your gambols, your songs? Now get you to my lady's chamber and tell her, let her paint an inch thick. To this favor she must come. Hamlet, contemplating the skull of the court jester. So basically, everything that is being stated here in the camera is that the camera is a vault, as it states right here. Arched roof, vault. Okay, so when women sit in front of the camera for all their OnlyFans or whatever you're doing with your phone or things of that nature, you're actually creating yourself to be inside of a vault, which is the shape of the picture or the shape of the camera lens. And that also makes you an incel. So if we were to talk about, what's going on with the whole OnlyFans and women taking pictures of themselves and being online and all of this other stuff, they're basically making themselves an incel and not even knowing it. Okay? Because they can control the dynamic of their communication with males through the comments. Okay? And when it comes to being out here in the world, there's too much going on for their minds to stay straight and focused. All right. So Candace, Candace, the name Candace is its origin is African. It is a royal title from the Bible, ultimately deriving from the term Candake, a title for a queen or queen mother in the ancient African kingdom of Kush. Pliny writes that the queen of the Ethiopians bore the title Candace and indicates that the Ethiopians had conquered ancient Syria and the Mediterranean. So, when you meet a girl named Candace, she 9 times out of 10 is going to have a royal presentation and a royal behavior on how she acts. Okay, so let's keep going down here. We're not even going to go into cannibalism right now, even though the drinking of menstrual blood is also considered a subtle form of cannibalism. Keep that in mind. Okay, let's go down here. The Carvel's ring is the private parts of a woman. Hans Carvel, a jealous old doctor, being in bed with his wife, dreamed that the devil gave him a ring, which, so long as he had it on his finger, would prevent his being made a cuckold. Waking, he found he had got his finger Lord knows where. You know? Let's see here to the next word. Cat has a very long definition. I didn't want to go over the cat. I might come back to it at the end of the video. But it was definitely found that there's a direct connect. I just read into an article recently showing there's a direct link in between women having schizophrenia and a pet cat, um, basically enhancing or developing the schizophrenia in the female owner. Okay, so cat ladies and insanity are extremely linked together by toxoplasma, which is another thing. We'll probably get down to that word when we get to the letter T. Okay. And toxoplasma is from a parasite that comes from the cat and it can only be created in cats. Okay. Hence the word cat is in the word Catherine. So there you see it right there. Okay. There's a whole science on how those saint names are to be used inside the intro of the book. Okay. And why their feast days and their attributes and patronages are mentioned. So, cat lady. A cat lady is a cultural archetype or stock character, most often depicted as a woman, a middle-aged or elderly spinster who has many cats. The term may be pejorative, or it may be affectionately embraced. Women who have cats have long been associated with the concept of spinsterhood. And all right, y'all be quiet. I'm doing something. All right, women who have cats have long been associated with the concept of spinsterhood. In more recent decades, the concept of a cat lady has been associated with romance challenged, often career oriented women. Specifically, it has also been embraced by lesbians. A cat lady may also be an animal hoarder who keeps large numbers of cats without having the ability to properly house or care for them. They may be ignorant about their situation or generally unaware of their situation. People who are aware of it are normally considered cat ladies. Depending on context, the ordinarily pejorative word crazy may be prepended to cat lady to indicate either a pejorative or a humorous and affectionate label. Some writers, celebrities, and artists have challenged the gender-based crazy cat lady stereotype and embraced the term to mean an animal lover or rescuer who cares for one or multiple cats and who is psychologically healthy. A 2019 study found no differences between cat owners and non-cat owners for anxiety, depression, or experiences in relationships. We suggest that our findings are therefore not consistent with a description of cat owners as depressed, anxious, or as having difficulty with human relationships. Some studies indicate a link between the parasite Toxoplasma gondii, which sexually reproduces exclusively in cats, and numerous psychiatric conditions, including obsessive compulsive disorder and schizophrenia, whereas the others The other studies have showed that T. gondii is not a causative factor in later psychoses. The compulsive hoarding of cats, a symptom of obsessive compulsive disorder, has long been associated with crazy cat ladies. Mass media has drawn on the stereotype to coin the term crazy cat lady syndrome to refer to the association between T. gondii and psychiatric conditions. The female cat in heat has an oestrus of 14 to 21 days and is generally characterized as an induced ovulator, since coitus induces ovulation. See toxoplasma. In foreground, a young man kneels before a naked woman who has hind legs and a tail of a cat. Behind, they are shown in four posture beds, with bride turning to chase mouse that runs up the wall. The Venus and Cupid in chariot in the sky, and the plate of to Aesop's fables is the first state. Okay, so that's in reference to this picture right here. The young man and the cat bride. Author lived from 1607. So you see the Cupid up here, and then there's a rat running up the wall. You see, and then there's somebody in the bed over here, and then there's the cat lady right here, and the man kneels on his knee to confess his love. Okay, yeah, this is showing that men will go blind to be in love with a woman, and regardless of her condition or her insanity, not necessarily knowing what he may be getting himself involved with. But for the time being, in short happenstance, he kneels before her. Okay. The cat o' nine tails, the cat foot, the cattle, the cat wagons, the cauldron, the cauliflower, the cadence, the Cecilia. Okay. And peace to Saint Cecilia. Okay. So let's read Saint Cecilia real quick. The word Cecilia means Cecilia is a name for females of Latin origin, as well as the nickname for Cecile. Cecilia, Celeste, or Celestina. The name is often derived from the Roman family name Celius, thought to originate in the Latin calum, which means heaven. Okay. Her attributes are the flute, organ, roses, violin, harp, baritone, harpsichord, songbird, singing, and hymns, great musicians, and poets. Okay. And her feast day is November 22nd. Saint Cecilia is also considered to be the first incorruptible saint, and she's important to me. Okay. So celibacy is defined here. Cellulite. What is cellulite? Cellulite is the herniation of subcutaneous fat within fibrous connective tissue that manifests as skin dimpling and nodularity, often on the pelvic region, specifically the buttocks, lower limbs, and abdomen. Cellulite occurs in most post-pubescent females. A review gives a prevalence of 85 to 98% of women, indicating that it is physiological rather than pathological. Okay. So physiological is referencing to the body, pathological is referencing to a disease. The causes of cellulite include changes in metabolism, physiology, diet and exercise habits, obesity, sex-specific dimorphic skin architecture, alteration of connective tissue structure, hormonal factors, genetic factors, the microcirculatory system, and the extracellular matrix, and the subtle inflammatory alterations. Hormones play a dominant role in the formation of cellulite. Estrogen may be the important hormone in the development of cellulite. However, there has been no reliable clinical evidence to support such a claim. Other hormones, including insulin, the catecholamines, the adrenaline and noradrenaline, thyroid hormones, and prolactin, are believed to participate in the development of cellulite. Several factors have been shown to affect the development of cellulite: sex, ethnicity, biotype. Hold on here. Biotype, distribution of subcutaneous fat, and predisposition to lymphatic and circulatory insufficiency have all been shown to contribute to cellulite. Cellulite is a multifactorial condition and can be resistant to an array of treatments. Aside from topical products, creams, ointments, and injectables, which is collagenase, Treatments for cellulite include non-invasive therapy, such as mechanical suction or mechanical massage. Energy-based devices include radio frequency with deep penetration of the skin, ultrasound, laser, and post-light devices. Combinations of mechanical treatments and energy-based procedures are widely used. More invasive subcision techniques utilize a needle-sized microscalpel to cut through the causative fibrous bands of connective tissue. Subcision procedures, manual, vacuum assisted, or laser assisted, are performed in specialist clinics with patients given local anesthetic. Cellulite is thought to occur in 80 to 90% of post adolescent females. There appears to be a hormonal component to its presentation. Its existence is a real disorder, has been challenged, and the prevailing medical opinion is that it is merely the normal condition of many women. It is rarely seen in males, but is more common in males with androgen deficient states, such as Klinefelter's syndrome, hypogonadism, and post castration states, and in those patients receiving estrogen therapy for prostate cancer. Okay. So that's what cellulite is, and I gave you some ways to fight it. That's why this book needs to be purchased. Go to thewomansalchemy.com right now. Get it. It is out the door. Okay. And directed to you, signed with a certification of authenticity. All right. The Champagne Room, charity. Okay. Charlotte, charm. What is charm? We're not going to go over that right now. It's a long definition, buddy. And there are poems like we're just going by right now. Those poems are basically the root of the behavior. Is an explanation of the behavior that is embedded inside the character of the operation of the word. So every word has its own operation, but one of its root elements for its behavior is based upon these little poems that have been attached to it during the medieval times. So chastity, this ticum, which is a state of being, that's Latin. In 1250, it was as audacity, charity, chastity, clarity, crudity, frailty, spirituality, venality, flighty, fruity, hoity-toity, nutty, witty, finality. Okay. The ending tri, though unrelated to tree, 3, has had a triple development. There are 25 words ending in olatry, worship as autolatry, bibliolatry, idolatry. There are 45 ending metry, measurement, as trigonometry or of three-sided figures, bathymetry, craniometry. And there are 59 miscellaneous as forestry, gallantry, harlotry, infantry, knight errantry, pedantry, poetry, psychiatry. The Latin ending ticum, T-I-C-U-M, remains in English in viaticum. From Latin, via, way. Viaticum means provisions, money, and other necessaries for a journey. But as early as the 16th century, it was used of the Eucharist administered to a dying person as preparation for the journey to the next world. Hence, it was turned to figurative use, as in the saying that biography can nourish you with the viaticum of good examples, or that education is the best viaticum for old age. The words chaste and chastity stem from Latin adjective castus, cut off, separated, pure. The words entered the English language around the middle of the 13th century. Chaste meant virtuous, pure from unlawful sexual intercourse, or from the early 14th century on, as a noun, a virgin, while chastity meant sexual purity. Thomas Aquinas links castus, chastity, to the Latin verb castigo, chastise, reprimand, correct, with a reference to Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics. Chastity takes its name from the fact that reason chastises concupiscence. concupiscence or whatever, which, like a child, needs curbing, as the philosopher states. Chastity, also known as purity, is a virtue related to temperance. Someone who is chaste refrains either from sexual activity considered immoral or any sexual activity according to their state of life. In some contexts, for example, when making a vow of chastity, chastity means the same as celibacy. The chastity belt. The chastity belt is a locking item of clothing designed to prevent sexual intercourse or masturbation. Such belts were historically designed for women, ostensibly for the purpose of chastity, to protect women from rape or to dissuade women and their potential sexual partners from sexual temptation. However, there is no credible evidence that chastity belts existed before the 15th century, over a century after the last Middle Eastern crusade, and their main period uh, of apparent use falls within the Renaissance rather than the Middle Ages. Research into the history of the chastity belt suggests that they were not used until the 16th century, and then only rather rarely. They first became widely available in the form of 19th century anti masturbation medical devices. A medieval device for locking a woman's potential lovers out of her body while her husband was away from home at wars, work, pilgrimages, or crusades. The pelvic fetter has small spiked holes through which urine, feces, and menstrual effluents might pass. In theory, in practice, it would have been impossible to keep clean. Vaginal infections, skin eruptions, and ulcers would have been inevitable after wearing such a device for only a short time, let alone months or years. In 1889, the skeleton of a woman was found in a 15th century Austrian graveyard, still wearing the chastity belt that probably caused her death. Okay. Chastity belts are similar to a jock strap that is worn around the waist to prevent a person from having intercourse. The chastity belt designed for women makes it, or metal guards in the front to prevent the pulling of an erect phallus through the device. These belts are more common in Europe than in the United States. Hold on, what just happened here? Oh no. Okay, let me see. Okay. We're not going to continue with this. You have to purchase the book and read the rest of the definition to get the history on the chastity belt. We're going to go down here to chemical castration. Chemical castration is castration via anaphrodisiac drugs, whether to reduce libido and sexual activity, to treat cancer, or otherwise. Unlike surgical castration, where the gonads are removed through an incision in the body, chemical castration does not remove organs, nor is it a form of sterilization. Chemical castration is generally considered reversible when treatment is discontinued, although permanent chemical castration is generally considered reversible when treatment is discontinued. Sorry, I read that twice. Although permanent effects in the body chemistry can sometimes be seen, as in the case of bone density loss increasing with length of use of depot medroxyprogesterone acetate. When used on males, these drugs can reduce sex drive, sexual fantasies, and capacity for sexual arousal. When used on females, the effects are similar. Though there is little research about chemically lowering female sex drive or female specific anaphrodisiacs, since most research focuses on the opposite, but androgenic hormone regimens would lower testosterone in females, which can impact sex drive or sexual response. These drugs also deflate the breast glands and expand the size of the nipple. Also seen is a sudden shrinking in bone mass and discoloration of the lips, reduced body hair, and muscle mass. California was the first U.S. state to specify the use of chemical castration for repeat child molesters as a condition of their parole, following the passage of a modification to Section 645 of the California Penal Code in 1996. This law stipulates castration for anyone convicted of child molestation with a minor under 13 years of age if they are on parole after the second offense. Offenders may not reject the intervention, although they may elect surgical castration instead of ongoing DMPA injections. At least 7 other states including Georgia, Iowa, Louisiana, Montana, Oregon, Texas, and Wisconsin, have experimented with chemical castration. In Iowa, as in California and Florida, offenders may be sentenced to chemical castration in all cases involving serious sex offenses. A major medical use of chemical castration is in the treatment of hormone dependent cancers, such as some prostate cancer, where it has largely replaced the practice of surgical castration. Chemical castration involves the administration of anti androgen drugs such as cyproterone acetate, flutamide, or gonadotropin, releasing hormone agonists. Now, what's funny right here, it says in Iowa, as in California and Florida, offenders may be sentenced to chemical castration in all cases involving serious sex offenses. Ain't that where your boy, Brother Polite, is locked up at in Florida? Well, there you go, nigga. Should have stayed in the math. You about to get chemically castrated up in that penitentiary. Now, the important reason on why I put that in there is because a lot of those chemicals, the DMPA, you best believe that shit is up in your fast food. You best believe that shit is up in your restaurant food, and they put that shit up in the food in the grocery stores. They're trying to knock it down. They don't want you to be reproducing. And there's a lot of reasons why we shouldn't allow the bad blood or the lower levels to reproduce, because they do not provide to mankind. And they aren't doing anything to assist to make this a better world. Okay? That's why they always need a leader and a hero, and you got to look out for the hood and all this other shit, because you're a degenerate that was born by degenerates, and you're not doing anything to remove your degenerate status. You see, you're born by a mother and a father who hated you, and this type of stuff is not what we need, and is not going to be conducive to the progression of our society. So, child neglect. Child neglect is a form of abuse and act of caregivers, i.e. parents, that results in depriving a child of their basic needs, such as the failure to provide adequate supervision, health care, clothing, or housing, as well as other physical, emotional, social, educational, and safety needs. All societies have established that there are necessary behaviors a caregiver must provide in order for a child to develop physically, socially, and emotionally. Causes of neglect may result from several parenting problems, including mental disorders, unplanned pregnancy, you see that? Substance abuse, unemployment, overemployment, domestic violence, and in special cases, poverty. Child neglect is the most frequent form of child abuse, with children born to young mothers at a substantial risk for neglect. Neglected children are at risk of developing lifelong social. Let's do that again. Neglected children are at risk of developing lifelong social, emotional, and health problems, particularly if neglected before the age of 2 years. Children may be left at home alone, which can result in negative consequences. Being left at home alone can leave young people feeling scared, vulnerable, and not knowing when their parents are going to return. The frequency and duration of being left at home alone may range from every evening to several days or even weeks at a time. Also, young children may not be provided with a suitable amount of decent food to eat, which is another form of neglect. Children have reported being provided with moldy food or not having any food in the house, or they were given an insufficient amount of food. The causes of child neglect are complex and can be attributed to 3 different levels: an intrapersonal or interpersonal / family, and a social / economic level. Although the causes of neglect are varied, studies suggest that, amongst other things, parental mental health problems, substance use, domestic violence, unemployment, and poverty are factors which increase the likelihood of neglect. Children that result from unintended pregnancies are more likely to suffer from abuse and neglect. They are also more likely to live in poverty. Neglectful families often experience a variety or a combination of adverse factors. At the interpersonal level, the discussion around neglectful parents' characteristics often focuses on mothers, reflecting traditional notions of women as primary caregivers for children. Neglectful attributes have included an inability to plan, lack of confidence about the future, difficulty with managing money, emotional immaturity. lack of knowledge of children's needs, a large number of children being a teenage mother, high levels of stress, and poor socioeconomical circumstances. Mental health problems, particularly depression, have been linked with a parent's inability to meet a child's need. Okay? Woo! Boy, it's heavy up in here. I'm gonna read this one because it's important. I didn't even highlight it, but let's highlight it real quick. Okay, we're gonna highlight this shit right here. Okay, childhood sweetheart. Okay, childhood sweetheart is a reciprocating phrase for a relationship, but not a partnership between young persons. This may come about by an extension of friendship, physical attraction, or develop from natural affinity. The relationship is usually platonic and lasts a short to medium period of time. This experience forms the basis of subsequent future relationships later in childhood and or adulthood. Usually an individual will have no more than one childhood sweetheart, as this term is indicative of a milestone in the growth, development, and maturity of a young person. In ideal circumstances, the term applies mutually to both parties and corresponds both ways, hence the plural being childhood sweethearts. The relationship may involve romantic love or may be an extension of a close friendship. Often, intimacy by way of kissing will occur in order to show affection. This is in addition to hugging, cuddling, holding hands, etc. The term first love may also apply in certain situations. Occasionally, in later years, these friendships are rekindled following separations or passing of their adult partners, which lead to a later life, marriage, union, etc. These instances are notable as they are made popular by media coverage. See puppy love. Okay. So I have that. I have childhood sweetheart in here, and I also have puppy love in here. Because as I was stating in my last video, these are phases that need to be handled around the 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. And if you don't, it will stunt your social skills, with the opposite gender and when you get older, and also with your processing of events that may occur to you or others during the course of your life. That shit is very important. Do you understand? And that's why a lot of people have mental health issues today, is because they didn't go through that phase when they were younger. And our public school system does everything they can to keep male and female separated so you can be stunted in your growth later on in life. The less you know how to process about existence, the more finances they'll be able to make off your back, is how it's looked at. Okay, because of your confusion will end up in domestic violence and also divorce court, which the state gets paid. Okay, and that's how it works. So Cinderella, the story of Rhodopis, recounted by the Greek geographer Strabo sometime between around 7 BC and AD 23, about a Greek slave girl who marries the king of Egypt, is usually considered to be the earliest known variant of the Cinderella story. The oldest known oral version of the Cinderella story is the ancient Greek story Rhodopis, a Greek courtesan living in the colony of Naucratis in Egypt, whose name means rosy cheeks. The story is first recorded by the Greek geographer Strabo in his book Geographica. The Egyptians tell the fabulous story that when she was bathing, an eagle snatched one of her sandals from her maid and carried it to Memphis. While the king was administering justice in the open air, the eagle, when it arrived above his head, flung the sandal into his lap. And the king, stirred both by the beautiful shape of the sandal and by the strangeness of the occurrence, sent men in all directions into the country in quest of the woman who wore the sandal. And when she was found in the city of Naucratis, she was brought up to Memphis and became the wife of the king. The same story is also later reported by the Roman orator Aelian, okay, from circa 175 to 235, in his miscellaneous history, which was written entirely in Greek. Aelian's story closely resembles the story told by Strabo, but adds that the name of the pharaoh in question was Psammetichus. Aelian's account indicates that the story of Rhodopis remained popular throughout antiquity. Herodotus, some 5 centuries before Strabo, records a popular legend about a possibly related courtesan named Rhodopis in his histories, claiming that she came from Thrace, was the slave of Iadmon of Samos, and a fellow slave of the storyteller Aesop, who was taken to Egypt in the time of Pharaoh Amasis and freed there for a large sum by Cherixus of Mytilene, the brother of Sappho, the lyric poet. Sappho is the lesbian poet. She is also in this book. Now, what is the Cinderella complex? The Cinderella complex was first described by Colette Dowling, who wrote a book on women's fear of independence, an unconscious desire to be taken care of by others. The complex is said to become more apparent as a person grows older. The complex is named after the fairy tale character Cinderella. It is based on the idea of femininity portrayed in that story, where a woman is beautiful, graceful, polite, supportive, hardworking, independent, and maligned by the females of her society. But she is not capable of changing her situations with her own actions and must be helped by an outside force, usually a male, hence the prince. Others point to Ronald Fairbairn's uh, concept of mature dependency to challenge cultural disparagement of dependency in favor of an ideal of isolated independence. Carol Gilligan's championship of a web of connections as a feminist goal, rather than the solitary male hero, is also invoked to defend the Cinderella complex's tendency to define the self in terms of a mate settled relationship. Okay, so Cinderella complex, as was stated here, is based on the unconscious desire to be taken care of by others. So that is whether that's your children, whether that's your husband and his family, or whether that's your a multitude of different males that you have to give liaisons to for them to run to your becking need. Okay, that is the Cinderella complex, which many women have, and is part of their expectation as they grow older, as they grow weaker. But guess what, ladies? If you don't have no love, and if you don't have no inclusion and being forceful with your love, that is either on your husband, on males that you know, or on your children, when you get older, there will be no Cinderella complex. Nobody's gonna take care of you. Just get ready for the fucking nursing home, because you're gonna be sitting there, you're gonna rot in your fucking wheelchair, they're gonna stuff pills down your throat, you ain't gonna have no cat lady, no none of that shit, no stank ass dog running around, okay? And nobody's gonna give a fuck about you, because in essence, you didn't give a fuck about anybody. It's how it works. You don't force your love on your children. You don't force your love on males. You don't force your love on your husband. One of those three, or your children and your husband together, or two of those three, you're fucked in this world. Okay? Men know this as well. Men know that, hey, if we don't have our health together, and if we don't have our finances together by a specific age, we are fucked. That's how it works. Okay, fuck all that imagination bullshit you got in your mind. These are the rules to life, and you better follow them, because if you don't follow them, you're fucked. It's just like going to the store, going to the mall. When you're driving you can get places when you follow the rules of the road. If you don't follow the rules of the road, you will be served a ticket. You will get into car accidents. You will get sued. You will get your license revoked. You will not be able to go anywhere, because you can't follow the rules. You're going to have to catch the bus. And guess what? In order to catch the bus, you still have to do what? Follow the rules and be at the right bus stop at a specific time to be picked up. But you will be amongst the lowlies, and you will deal with the scent of the bum. So understand that's what the rule and regulation is. And there's nothing wrong with rules. Rules are designed to keep you safe. Rules and laws are not put in place to tell you what to do and to control your life so you can invoke some form of defiance that you define yourself as courage. Defiance is not courage. Defiance is stupidity. It's a lack of a skill of understanding how to agree and also being able to mathematically conclude the downfalls of what situation may be in front of you. Okay? Defiance does not do good. You're not a revolutionary by being defiant. You're not the OG because you're defiant. You don't have courage because you're defiant. Your defiance is going to be self-inflicted pain and self-sabotaging destruction is what that is. Because humans have been here eons before you, eons before me. We have figured some things out, people. You understand? As the Cinderella story comes from ancient Egypt. It wasn't written for you by Walt Disney yesterday. This is how the game works. Stop going against what's here for you. Let's go down here some more and see what else is going on here. There's a long definition for cleavage, because cleavage is one of the women's one of their little tricks that they use, especially on these sites with the reels and going live. They want to keep the cleavage all in front and try to keep the little inexperienced male all attached to it. And it's like, give me a break, What is the clitoris? That is all in there. Let's read some of the words that the clitoris is attached to real quick. Okay. Clitoris. Let's do this real quick. We're just going to read the words that it's attached to. Okay. Slant. Up or down. Hence, bed or ladder. Greek. Klein. Bed. Clinic. Clitoris and clinic are two words that are attached. In the 17th century, a clinic was a person, perhaps seeking to avoid persecution, who postponed baptism until his deathbed. Okay, so a clinic was a person who postponed baptism until his deathbed, and that's what you're doing when you go to the clinic. You have defied against the laws of the religion, and you will postpone your baptism until your deathbed. Okay, in the Old English Dictionary lists 13 and details 11 relevant words beginning with clin. Oh, a clinic, anticlinial, clinamen, a client and clitoris, attached words. Who leans upon someone. A client is a person who leans upon someone. Clinocore and other materials. Clinobasic, clinohedral, and other crystals. Clinoid, clinometer, inclinometer. In Greek, clitoris, mound, hillock. Clitellum, the clitian. Clitons. They had the problem. Okay. The clitoris, the clivis, the enclitic, the proclitic, the heteroclite, isoclinic, microcline, monoclinic, paraclinic, declinus, triclinium, matroclinus, patroclinus. In Greek, climax, ladder, climactic, climacteric, climax, anticlimax. From the sloping surface of the terrestrial globe. Climate, acclimatize. Okay, in Latin, declension, decline, declivity, acclivity, proclivity, recline. Old English Dictionary defines 10 associated words. Inclination, inclined. From their favorable tone came also clement, clemency, and inclement. And Greek is ladder and lean lid, the lean lid. So those are the words that are attached to the clitoris. Okay. Let's go down. This is all connected to the definition as well right here for the clitoris. All right. But we got to keep it moving. We're not going to read all of that. You have to purchase the material, thewomansalchemy.com. It is not to be played with, okay? Everybody got all these problems up on these podcasts about body count and all this other shit and female responsibility and blah, 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 okay? So let's go ahead and solve the problem by providing a solution right here. But all solutions are called DIY, do it yourself. Okay. Now, the cloven foot. To show the cloven foot is to show a lavish intention, a base motive. The allusion is to Satan, represented with the legs and feet of a goat. And however he might disguise himself, he could never conceal his cloven feet. In Alchemy, Leviticus 11:3, whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven footed and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat. Cud is food that is chewed and then regurgitated to the mouth, only to be chewed again. Now, the cloven foot is also what the vagina looks like. Okay, so that's what we. That's what they're alluding to. What they're alluding to is the whole the uterus is alien theory and the male psyche of the uterus, because the uterus develops both male and female, is the cloven foot, the goat. Okay, so let's keep on going here. All right. So you see all these words. This is no joke. And this is only a page, what, 192, 19. We're in the 190s right now. This literature goes all the way to 400, 500 pages. Okay. Okay. So cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance in the field of psychology, cognitive dissonance is the perception of contradictory information. Relevant items of information include a person's actions, feelings, ideas, beliefs, values, and things in the environment. Cognitive dissonance is typically experienced as psychological stress when persons participate in an action that goes against one or more of those things. According to this theory, when two actions or ideas are not psychologically consistent with each other, people do all in their power to change them until they become consistent. The discomfort is triggered by the person's belief clashing with new information perceived, wherein the individual tries to find a way to resolve the contradiction to reduce their discomfort. Yeah, and that's what happens with me. Because of the way I look, you don't expect for this level of intelligence to come out. So it creates cognitive dissonance with everybody because I know how to speak, and they have socially stereotypically and inculcated the thought into the average American's mind that the black male doesn't know how to speak big words and that he's a dumbass. So because I don't fit in that paradigm, I create cognitive dissonance. Okay, we're not going to read the different types. Yeah, I have to go ahead and get the book to get that. You know, it even says that in my star chart that I create cognitive dissonance amongst people. You know, because they don't want it, because I don't fit within the stereotype, the limited stereotypes that you understand about black males and also existence. I don't fit within that space. So, you know, I get a lot of pushback. I get a lot of disbelief, you know, about many subjects. You know, I've even had disbelief about me doing the at-home delivery and the video is right in front of them. I've had people intentionally not look at things so they can believe their disbelief, you know, and stay within that space pertaining to me or, you know, the books I've written and the things that I've done, you know. No black male is to be great. And if you are to be great, you're to be bouncing a basketball, basically. So a comb, to comb one's head, to clap her claw, or scold anyone. A woman who lectures her husband is said to comb his head. She combed his head with a joint stool. She threw a stool at him. Okay. A comfortable importance is a wife. A commode is a woman's headdress. Commode, measure, take measure. Hence, ponder. Judge, prescribe, an extension of me for. This root formed many Latin words: modicus, modulus, majus, meditare, meditatum, medicina. Thence moderate, immoderate, etc., modest, immodest, model, mode, and its doublet mode in grammar form modified by mood, state of mind. See moral. Modern, measured as of our day, influenced by diurnal. The modicum, the modify, modulate, module, accommodate, commode, commodious, commodity. Meditation is the last of the stations on the eightfold way to nirvana. It is of little worth until the other 7 are achieved premeditated. Medical, medication, medicine, medicinal, etc., etc. Remedy, French, modest, molage, turmoil. Folk changed from Latin, tremodia, vessel containing 3 measures applied to a meal hopper, which shook as the grain flowed through. Okay. Welsh, methylene, literally honey juice deemed medicinal. Greece, must meet. Fit, help meet. A misreading of the Bible, Genesis chapter 2 verses 18. It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an help meet for him, modified to help mate. A commodity. A woman's commodity is the private parts of a modest woman and the public parts of a prostitute. Okay. And that's also in reference to the medieval times where women used to walk around with their tits out. They didn't have any covering for their shirt. Their shirt literally went over their arms and shoulders right here and went under their breasts. Okay. Common law marriage, common prostitute, compassionate love. Compassionate love, sometimes also called altruistic love, is love that centers on the good of the other. It is closely related to the construct of unlimited love that has been expounded by Stephen G. Post. It is distinct from altruism, compassion, and romantic love. Compassionate love has been a topic of scientific interest and research since the 1990s. Since 2001, the scientific study of compassionate love has received several $1 million in research support from the Fetzer Institute and the Institute for Research on Unlimited Love. The white man has an institute for research on unlimited love. That should say a lot. Okay. Because I don't think one person inside the conscious movement has sat back to study what love is. Okay. The emergence of the term compassionate love has been described by Lynn G. Underwood in a chapter in the first edited book on compassionate love research, The Science of Compassionate Love. The term first emerged in the context of a research meeting at the World Health Organization for developing tools to assess quality of life to be used in diverse cultures. The group included researchers from all over the world, from both religious and non-religious backgrounds. One of the facets of interest was loving kindness or love for others. Underwood writes that there was considerable discussion of the appropriate wording for this aspect. The Buddhists were not happy with the word love, but wanted compassion to be used, which for them fit the concept. The Muslims in the group from Indonesia, India, and Turkey were adamant that compassion was too cold and that love needed to be there as it brought in the feeling of love. Compassionate love was the compromise phrase. Scientific research on compassionate love began to emerge after a 1999 conference at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology that brought together several key theorists and researchers and produced an edited book reflecting major ideas. Okay, so compulsive sexual behavior disorder. Compulsive sexual behavior disorder, hypersexual disorder, is a pattern of behavior involving intense preoccupation with sexual fantasies and behaviors that cause distress, are inappropriately used to cope with stress, cannot be voluntarily curtailed, and risk or cause harm to oneself or others. This disorder can also cause impairment in social, occupational, or other important functions. So, what's going on here is all these girls over here using all these toys and dildos and shit. This disorder can also cause impairment in social, occupational, or other important functions. Exactly. They're slamming these toys in them, and then they don't want to respond to you and talk directly because their brain is all screwed up from a self-imposed neglect of that's what's going on. They are imposing neglect upon themselves by getting a false orgasm, okay, and achieving it by themselves. So they're imposing neglect and also building an indivisible wall from the other gender, obviously. Compulsive sexual behavior disorder is defined as a persistent pattern of failure to control intense repetitive sexual impulses or urges, resulting in repetitive sexual behavior. Symptoms may include repetitive sexual activities becoming a central focus of the person's life to the point of neglecting health and personal care or other interests, activities, and responsibilities. Numerous unsuccessful efforts to significantly reduced repetitive sexual behavior, and continued repetitive sexual behavior despite adverse consequences or deriving little or no satisfaction from it. Okay. Concealed ovulation or hidden oestrus in a species is the lack of any perceptible change in an adult female. For instance, a change in appearance or scent when she is fertile and near ovulation. In contrast, the females of humans and a few other species that undergo hidden estrus have few external signs of fecundity, making it difficult for a mate to consciously deduce by means of external signs only whether or not a female is near ovulation. In humans, an adult woman's fertility peaks for a few days during each monthly cycle. The frequency, hold on, notice they keep on using that word, the frequency. The frequency and length of fertility, the time when a woman can become pregnant, is highly variable between women and can slightly change for each woman over the course of her lifespan. Humans are considered to have concealed ovulation because there is no outward physiological sign, either to a woman herself or to others, that ovulation or biological fertility is occurring. Knowledge of the fertility cycle learned through experience or from educational sources can allow a woman to estimate her own level of fertility at a given time. Fertility awareness. Whether other humans' potential reproductive partners in particular can affect fertility in women through behavioral or invisible biological cues is highly debated. Scientists and laypersons are interested in this question because it has implications for human social behavior and could theoretically offer biological explanations for some human sexual behavior. However, the science here is weak due to a relatively small number of studies. You see, scientists have no problem with identifying what is weak. So there's not enough studies to validate the theory. And the scientists have stated that it is weak. Several small studies have found that fertile women appear more attractive to men than women during infertile portions of her menstrual cycle or women using hormonal contraception. It has also been suggested that a woman's voice may become more attractive to men during this time. Two small studies of monogamous human couples have found that women initiated sex significantly more frequently when fertile, but male initiated sex occurred at a constant rate without regard to the woman's phase of menstrual cycle. It may be that a woman's awareness of men's courtship signal increases during her highly fertile phase due to an enhanced olfactory awareness of chemicals specifically found in men's body odor. And analysis and that body odor is sometimes the armpits. Which is a fact. Analysis of data provided by the post 1998 U.S. Demographic and Health Surveys found no variation in the occurrence of coitus in the menstrual phases, except during menstruation itself. This is contrary to other studies, which have found female sexual desire and extra pair copulations to increase during the mid follicular to ovulatory phases. That is the highly fertile phase. These findings of differences in woman initiated versus man initiated sex are likely caused by the woman's subconscious awareness of her ovulation cycle because of hormonal changes causing her to feel increased sexual desire, contrasting with the man's inability to detect ovulation because of its being hidden. In 2008, researchers announced the discovery in human semen of hormones usually found in ovulating women. They theorized that follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, and estradiol may encourage ovulation in women exposed to semen. These hormones are not found in the semen of chimpanzees, suggesting this phenomenon may be a human male counter strategy to concealed ovulation in human females. Other researchers are skeptical that the low levels of hormones found in semen could have any effect on ovulation. One group of authors has theorized that concealed ovulation and menstruation were key factors in the development of symbolic culture in early human society. Okay. So I'm not going to read that last one. Y'all get to that. So basically, it did state here, though, um, This is contrary to other studies which have found female sexual desire and extra pair copulations to increase during the mid follicular to ovulatory phases. That is the highly fertile phase. So during the highly fertile phase, she will have extra pair copulations. Okay. And just to let the ladies know that's listening, early in my YouTube days, one of the main complaints males had about their relationship was the females didn't initiate the sex. So, and over time, because a male is ready at all times, over time that will make him, turn away from the female, because it falls into a space of him feeling as if he's forcing himself on you or forcing you, and then it turns into, rape thought patterns, or um ownership to, or that you're not involved thoroughly. You know what I'm saying? So we're all adults here. This is adult subject matter here. And a lot of the natives, or a lot of the people in the 85%, they do all this fucking weak ass shit laughing about it because you're immature. These are mature subjects. We're all adults here. We should be able to approach this shit with thorough thought and thorough conversation. And there's nothing to hide. Well, obviously, a lot of women have had a lot of these things to hide from males so they can impose certain areas of maleficia and the witch work. But that witch work is against our duties as a human in the realm of progression and also reproduction. So we cannot allow that type of activity to occur, and do not um, encourage a woman to be evil and you to like said nature of a female being evil. That is nothing romantic, it's nothing comical, it's nothing cute about it. Okay. So, what is a concubine? Concubinage is an interpersonal and sexual relationship between a man and a woman in which the couple does not want or cannot enter into a full marriage. Concubinage and marriage are often regarded as similar but mutually exclusive. The English terms concubine and concubinage appeared in the 14th century, deriving from Latin terms in Roman society and law. The term concubine, circa 1300, meaning a paramour, a woman who cohabits with a man without being married to him, comes from the Latin concubina. Concubinus, terms that in Roman law meant one who lives unmarried with a married man or woman. The Latin terms are derived from the verb concumbere, to lie with, to lie together, to cohabit, and a simulation of com, a prefix meaning with, together, and cubere, meaning to lie down. It may also come from the Latin word concubinatus, an institution in ancient Rome that meant a permanent cohabitation between persons to whose marriage there were no legal obstacles. A concubine is a term used widely in historical and academic literature and varies considerably depending on the context. In the 21st century, it typically refers explicitly to extramarital affection, either to a mistress or to a sex slave, without the same emphasis on the cohabiting aspect of the original meaning. It has also been described more plainly as a long-term sexual relationship between a man and a woman who are not legally married. Okay. In ancient Rome, it was practiced monogamously, and the concubine's children did not receive inheritance. The church tried to stamp out concubinage, but it remained widespread in Christian societies until the early modern era of 1450 to 1815. In European colonies and American slave plantations, single and married men entered into long-term sexual relationships with local women. In the Dutch East Indies, concubinage created mixed-race Indo-European communities. While most ancient Egyptians were monogamous, a male pharaoh would have had other lesser wives and concubines in addition to the great royal wife. This arrangement would allow the pharaoh to enter into diplomatic marriages with the daughters of allies, as was the custom of ancient kings. Concubinage was a common occupation for women in ancient Egypt, especially for talented women. A request for 40 concubines by Amenhotep III to a man named Milkilu, prince of Gezer, states, "Behold, I have sent you Hanya, the commissioner of the archers, which with merchandise in order to have beautiful concubines, i.e. weavers, silver, gold, garments, all sort of precious stones, chairs of ebony, as well as all good things, worth 160 Devon. In total, 40 concubines. The price of every concubine, hold on, is 40 of silver. Therefore, send very beautiful concubines without blemish. Concubines would be kept in the Pharaoh's harem. Amenhotep III kept his concubines in his palace at Malkata, which was one of the most opulent in the history of Egypt. The king was considered to be deserving of many women as long as he cared for his great royal wife as well. Okay, we're not going to read the other ones. Let's read confidence. Okay. Because that's what women like is confidence, and women want to be confident. One of the key roots of confidence is sexual conquering. That's for both male and female. Okay. So now, and when I say sexual conquering for a female, I don't mean by multiplicity of males. I mean by achieving the goal, which is your orgasm and also your mate's orgasm during the course of one liaison with one-on-one. Not a woman achieving multiple males and conquering multiple males through the act of sex. And if you do that, you're going to fall into deep depression states, especially when those males aren't there when you need them for other things in life, and they just were able to use you for, sexual fun. So confidence is a state of being clear-headed, either that a hypothesis or prediction is correct, or that a chosen course of action is the best or most effective. Confidence comes from a Latin word fidere, which means to trust. Therefore, having self-confidence is having trust in oneself. Arrogance of hubris, in comparison, is the state of having unmerited confidence, believing something or someone is correct or capable when evidence or reasons for his belief are lacking. Overconfidence or presumptuousness is excessive belief in someone or something succeeding without any regard for failure. Confidence can be a self-fulfilling prophecy, as those without it may fail or not try because they lack it, and those with it may succeed because they have it rather than because of an innate ability. The concept of self-confidence is commonly defined as self-assurance in one's personal judgment, ability, power, etc. You see? Defined as self-assurance in one's personal judgment, ability, power, etc. That's what I was relating to when I was stating earlier about the whole sexual liaison and how that's connected to your confidence. One's self-confidence increases as a result of experiences of having satisfactorily completed particular activities. Exactly, as I stated. I know what I'm talking about here, people. Self-confidence involves a positive belief that in the future, one can generally accomplish what one wishes to do. Self-confidence is not the same as self-esteem, which is an evaluation of one's own worth, whereas self-confidence is more specifically trust in one's ability to achieve some goal, which one meta-analysis suggested is similar to generalization of self-efficacy. Okay. Now, self-esteem also comes from the sexual union when you have an evaluation of one's own worth. If you're getting worshipped by your mate during the course of the act, then you're going to have an evaluation of one's own worth. You're going to feel far more powerful, especially when the motherfucker beautiful. Okay? We're not going to read all of that. Conjugal love is in here, another form of love. A control freak. Okay, I think we need to read this. The colloquialism control freak usually describes a person with an obsession with getting things done in a certain way. A control freak can become distressed when someone causes a deviation in the way they prefer to do things. Control freak can also describe a person who tries to make others do things the way that they want them done, even if the other people prefer to do it another way, and even if the initial person has no good reason for interfering. Control freaks tend to have a psychological need to be in charge of their own environment, things, and or people. This includes circumstances that cannot be controlled. The need for control in extreme cases stems from deeper psychological issues such as obsessive compulsive disorder, anxiety disorders, personality disorders, the embarrassment of prior failures, or being the recipient of consequences that stem from the acts of others. Control freaks are often perfectionists. They may manipulate or pressure others to change to avoid having to change themselves or deal with the unpredictable and unperceived results of others' inclusion. Control freaks sometimes have similarities to codependents in the sense that the latter's fear of abandonment leads to attempts to control those they are dependent on. Now, this is my definition to the control freak, the alchemy. In today's society, hold on here. In today's society, individual responsibility and personalized maintenance can be seen as being a control freak. The majority of the world is populated with a native tribal mentality, which is exclusively reliant on a micro-macro system of socialism, bartering, false reliances, false promise, fantasies, and dreams. This type of mentality is not mathematical, nor is it industrial for self-sustenance purposes. There is no desire for ownership, possession, endurance, or maintenance. Therefore, all things will quickly deteriorate without explanation. A nomadic habit will be the sustenance of survival. This is after all resources utilized for survival will be exhausted in the immediate area. A control freak understands these things, inclusive with the emotional unpredictability of the average unbalanced human whose inexperience with existence forces their decision making to be based on emotions. There are more negative emotions than positive ones. Jealousy, envy, mistrust, and a lot of other emotions will make a person destroy, attempt to destroy, or aim to destroy others' possessions or lifestyle that they have created for themselves. The experience of trauma and its multitude of different forms will make a person become a control freak. The control freak's mentality minimizes the possibility of loss. They mathematically process all circumstances to perceive both positive and negative results of a situation. If the results are negative, many blocks and restrictions will be put in place. Okay. What is a convenient? A mistress. What is a cooler? A woman. What is the Coolidge effect? Is a biological phenomenon seen in animals whereby males exhibit renewed sexual interest whenever a new female is introduced, even after sex with prior but still available sexual partners. To a lesser extent, the effect is also seen among females with regard to their mates. The Coolidge effect can be attributed to an increase in sexual responsiveness and a shortening of the sexual refractory period. The evolutionary benefit to this phenomenon is that a male can fertilize multiple females. The male may be reinvigorated repeatedly for successful insemination of multiple females. This type of mating system can be referred to as polygyny, where one male has multiple female mates, but each female mates with only one or a few males. So basically, if you got the varsity team and you got all the cheerleaders right there, and the varsity team knows all the cheerleaders, and a new cheerleader walks in the room, all the prior cheerleaders are going to hate her and hiss at her, and all the males are going to, woo, who are you? Like, what's going on? And they're going to try and get to her first, and that is called the Coolidge effect. Okay? What is copulin? Copulins is to connect, to put together. Also see copulation are female sexual odor substances. They were first described in 1971 and represent a group of volatile and short-chain fatty acids that occur in vaginal secretions depending on the cycle. A mixture of 5 volatile fatty acids secreted vaginally, identified and named copulins, significantly increase in concentration during the follicular phase and decrease in concentration during the luteal phase in non-pill using women. Men exposed to copulins exhibit an increase in testosterone, are inhibited in discriminating the attractiveness of women's faces, and behave less cooperatively. Humans do not exhibit overt visual cues during ovulation. Thus, human ovulation is often termed concealed, which may provide some advantages to women, for example, increasing the appeal of monogamous pair bonding, thereby increasing male parental investment, increasing chances of successful cuckoldry, and decreasing the risk of infanticide. In some primate species, females produce vaginal secretions that may influence males behaviorally and hormonally. Michael and Cavern in 1970 reported that estrogen stimulated some primates to produce vaginal secretions containing a chain of 5 volatile aliphatic acids: acetic, propanoic, sorry about that, and methylpropanoic, butanoic, and methylbutonic. Okay, this mixture of fatty acids called copulins could potentially be classified as a pheromone, since they are produced vaginally and trigger certain behavioral and physiological reactions in conspecifics. Okay. Miller, Tiber, and Jordan in 2007 found that non-pill using lap dancers earned $350 in tips while ovulating, compared to $260 in the luteal phase and $185 during menstruation. One hypothesis based on behavioral differences suggests the discrepancy in earnings is due to more flirtation and provocative dancing during ovulation. Another hypothesis suggests men are unconsciously detecting olfactory cues to the physiological status of the dancer. Okay. So copulins do make you act out in a certain way. It'll definitely attach you to the woman's voice, and her voice will now become an alarm system in your mind. Okay. What is a cougar? Okay. I don't even know. Hold on. Let me see something here. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. Let me see here. So I'm going to be done with that one. Courtly love. The court of assistance. The coven. All right. I think we're going to be done for today. It's already been an hour and a half here. Yeah. A crime of passion. Yeah, well, we'll read the rest later at another time. We might go through the whole cuckold. These are lists of 77 different forms of cuckolds. So y'all go ahead and go purchase the material. That's it for today. I know I've done enough reading. I got a lot of shit to do. I still got a whole day ahead of me. So y'all go ahead and get the books, man. They're half off right now, with more like 75% off at thewomansalchemy.com. And we also have the 3 books for $50. Kickedoutofheaven.com. Okay. Somebody asked if I'm still online. Obviously, I'm right here. I don't give up, bro. You know, I'm not a person who just gives up. I may take a break, but one thing I damn sure ain't gonna do is I don't give up. I don't give up on my children. I don't give up on the women in my life. I don't give up on nothing, you know. So I don't give up in this rap game. Got a new album coming out at the top of the month. Y'all get ready for it because it is gigantic. You understand? There's gonna be a show. I got another show to do tonight with Warlock Asylum. Look out for that. Google him. YouTube him and go to his channel and subscribe right now. And then I have a show coming up tomorrow with Crumb TV. And then we have another show coming up later on this next week with Professor Shock. And we're going to be going over a lot of things of the origins of Christmas coming out of Europe and how they're related to our modern day Western civilization. Okay. So y'all go ahead and do that. I'm about to play 2 tracks. The 2 tracks I played earlier, Linger in Her Lingerie and Cinderella's Chance, were off of the Wired for War album. Okay. And we're going to play 2 songs right now. For the ladies, or relative to the ladies. Okay. So here goes Money in the Bag off the Money Religion, and then Milton Bradley. Here we go.
Organized swag, money, money in the bag. Organized swag, money, money in the bag.
You see them lames grinning, you see them graves digging. Stay focused on them streets, my nigga, I pay attention.
Organized swag, money, money in the bag. Organized swag, money, money in the bag.
You see them lames grinning, you see them graves digging. Stay focused on them streets, my nigga, I pay attention. This ain't your eulogy or funeral. I keeps a phantom on the organ for the musical. Intoxicated, I only see exotic and beautiful. Didn't mean to get spiritual, holy Quran and biblical, but I know how the scriptures go. When you gotta get the dough in plentyfold, and your pictures moving slow, trying to get a milli soul. Strike gold like hillbillies, Death Row, and stay away from death row. I take this game like my last blunt and don't wanna let go. But what's so special about a roach? When I'm supposed to be mobbing and coaching, always got the support, but of course they don't last. They had no force and they smashed, so I put their name in the flame, watch their corpse turn to ash.
Organized swag, money, money in the bag. Organized swag, money, money in the bag.
You see them lames grinning, you see them graves digging. Stay focused on them streets, my nigga, I pay attention.
Organized swag, money, money in the bag. Organized swag, money, money in the bag.
You see them lames grinning, you see them graves digging. Stay focused on them streets, my nigga, I pay attention. I keep the law as I should, the Torah and the Talmud. The saint don't believe in taint, so your pain's understood. We convert dollars over earth, keep the grain on the wood. Keep our women bisexual looking, goddess level good. That's class with a dash of some hood. The ingredients of businessmen, and never know what with you see me in the invisible greedy gin. With the sleazy grin, easy trigger hairpin. I let the games begin to judge like a referee, and never let my grudges get the best of me. This the recipe of the nigga chef RG. For success, I protest to never be employee. Nigga, I don't believe in stress. This yoga, tai chi, I ching.
Organized swag, money, money in the bag. Organized swag, money, money in the bag.
You see them lames grinning, you see them graves digging. Stay focused on them streets, my nigga, I pay attention.
Organized swag, money, money in the bag. Organized swag, money, money in the bag.
You see them lames grinning, you see them graves digging. Stay focused on them streets, my nigga, I pay attention. Top-notch gang, Saga City. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. Mirror, mirror on the wall, will a real nigga ball? Just trying to find a wish to make a prince out of frog. A lady with a tramp stamp, loyal for the big dog. The beauty loves the beast, she likes to foul my claws. See Mary pussy poppin', keep that chastity droppin'. I am just a leprechaun and that be needing me gold. Everywhere that I go, it's Sherlock Holmes on a hoe. Looking for Snow White, of course she got 7 dwarfs. Yeah, they pay her rent and light to give her money for support, but she'll disappear with the headless man on the horse. To explore the great sport, let the games begin. Late night, red light, we will dance in the sin. That innocence within will never see life again. Alice in Wonderland, we all wonder where you been. She says I'm late, I'm late, I'm late for a date and some ends. Now every day she wants to play with Mr. Rumpelstiltskin, nigga. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The Mad Hatter with Dapper make your pockets get fatter. Yankee Doodles never frugal with the abracadabra. Hypnotized by your eyes, all the rumors that chatter. Wet panties, dry purse, such a purulous matter. Better make them rats scatter like the cat awaits. My game is Pepe Le Pew, I be on the chase. My word suffocates, she got a blue devil face. Pimp Thunder, witch hunter on the tribunal case. Bitch, this the Inquisition, don't you rise my suspicion. You've been speaking with fairies and you've been eating with gnomes. Always got a big old stinking ass dog in your home. Need to get the proper fucking or be insane and alone. In this world, you're a little girl and you need to be grown. So just close your eyes and take it to ice cream cone. She plead for what she needs so she can do what she prone. This is Don Juan Python till the night be gone, bitch.
My name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie.
This the macaroni with Pinocchio's nose. On a white stallion with a glass shoe for your toes. I'll get your hair did, you'll have the finest jewelry and clothes. A peasant will see heaven when she do what she told. She wants to dance the La Macabre with the nature god. Do everything odd cause life's a facade. So she's gone with the wind so she can brag to her friends. Stupid chickens will do anything to stay with the trend. With that I sit back cause the fact her Kit Kat need a tic tac. She should relax with that beeswax. Cause these snaps, they all belong to me. I'm the one with the cane in this game of Monopoly. I collect every penny of the tax on my property. Better speak with etiquette, and that means properly. Little Red Riding Hood just don't know where she be. She reached to kiss the goat, and it was sloppy and obscene.
The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie. The name is Milton Bradley, I be pimpin' on the baddie.